Why do you think Leo can't play capo?
No, Leo can play. I would love to see him play capo. That would actually be like amazing.
As Jim Jones.
Yeah, I like it.
The guy can play Jewels. There's probably a terrible blackface joke somewhere in this.
No, because you wouldn't put on a blackface.
No, I would just be white and play Jewels.
Yeah.
And Leo would be Jim Jones.
I like that for y'all. I think that helped bridge the racial gap in the country.
Maybe Michael Rappaport could play Cam.
No, I see where it's going. Very, very productive and then progressive.
You play Freaky.
Yes, okay. I'm down with that. I can do that all day.
Look, we got someone authentic.
Yeah, exactly. Someone that's really from the culture.
That's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, though. I see those memes going around. People on the internet have way too much time, but I love it.
That it did cause some pain in my mentions though. I had made a joke a couple years ago that didn't go over very well with the West Indian community.
What joke was that?
I said, I wonder if Jim Jones has ever been booked in Guyana for a show and they just put flyers up around the city of Jim Jones performing in Georgetown.
Why did they kill you for that?
I thought it was just a funny joke. And on top of that, it was a bunch of fucking weirdo cult people that went to Guyana. He didn't kill anyone from Guyana.
People are just, I don't know, whatever.
Well, I fully support. I do want to see that movie though. Do you know that story?
Not much, but I know some of it.
Yeah, Jim Jones, he was a cult leader. They all went to Guyana and did a mass suicide.
Yeah.
Wearing some Cortez Nikes. I think that was the same one. And put, whatever.
Is it a difference? What if somebody showed up with Adidas? Could they not have?
No, I think you had to put the Cortez on.
Okay.
To do so.
Sounds like product placement.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Sounds like a big product placement thing, but whatever.
Listen,
you ain't got no Cortezes on? Nah, you can't kill yourself. Get out of here. Like, what? What is this? Like, I still want to kill myself. I didn't have Cortezes.
And once you kill yourself, how are you going to stop me?
This is what I'm saying. Like, what is this?
It's funny we're joking about suicide already, and we have a doctor to talk about that in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This will all come full circle, guys. We're not shitty people.
But I think in some ways, though, the whole suicide thing is something that is a conversation I think people should have. I think when you start to make or normalize certain topics and discussions and conversations, I think that is some of the help. Because I think like a lot of people don't like to talk about, certain things and, avoid certain type of conversations. I think that sometimes, and then making a good joke about, some of your struggles, that to me helps too. Though.
I made a career out of it.
Yeah. There you go.
Speaking of hostages and cults, did you see the Kanye West ransom mob ties?
Yeah, video? I was kind of concerned for Ye at first. Like I was looking at it and I didn't understand what was going on. And then whenever Jay Prince is on camera, I'm things are serious. So I'm like, okay, this is something serious.
Some Captain Phillips vibes there.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. He just didn't want Ye to just go off the hinges and say some way left shit. No, read this. Say this, and this is the message we're going to get out. We don't want you freestyling none of this. This is what you should say.
It was a very Ye response, though, and not that I don't see the importance of the Larry Hoover case. But what a Ye thing to do. Like, finally, when it's something I need in my selfish ass, it's going to be like, yo, let's dead this now. I got this cause.
But, I mean, honestly, the whole situation between him and Drake is... Like, what is it really about? You know what I mean? Like, it's like we get, the affiliation with, Pusha and all of that and how that was a sensitive thing. But is it really that serious?
No, I just think
like, should these two of our biggest artists ever really be beefing about something like, you know what I mean? Like, again, it may be something real personal that none of them have spoken on. So we don't know. But if it's nothing, outside of which he addressed on Drink Champs, not sleeping with, somebody's wife or, if it's not that, I don't think that there's anything to really beef about. And they're not beefing about money, obviously.
I actually thought that Ye shit was actually pretty mature too. Like, and if you did beat, all right, let me know and I can figure it out from there. Stop alluding like you beat. Because if you beat, cool, I'll have to go deal with that. But don't allude that you fucked. It's weird.
Do you feel like Drake alluded?
Do I feel?
Yeah.
I think Scorpion could be called, hey guys, I'm letting you know that I fucked this guy's wife.
Okay. I missed that track, but okay.
It's 1 through 27.
I didn't hear that track, and maybe I'm just not listening for that. But okay, but yeah, if it's anything outside of that, I think that it's time for them to bury that and move on. And I think that'd be great. I think that'd be I think that'll cause change.
Should Ye have a problem if, let's say, he did beat before? Not when they were together. He just beat
before they got together. I could see him having an issue if he maybe approached Drake about that and asked him in privacy, have you and Kim ever had any type of relations before we got together? Like, and if, Drake didn't want to put that information out there, it kind of was like, I'm not going to just put her business out there.
I'm going to wait for my double disc.
Yeah, like, what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I understand if he don't want to, expose that information, but I could see why Kanye would feel some type of way about that, though.
Yeah, I can see it. Well, I do actually hope that leads to whatever this concert shit is.
I think it'll be, obviously we know how monumental and how huge that would be. This is definitely like a stadium event. This is something that is just, I don't think we would have seen two artists of this caliber have a show together. Like, I don't know if we've ever seen that.
I like the cause behind it. I am curious what Ye plans on doing with that. And I'm not making any assumptions about it. I am very curious to see what it would be like if two of the biggest artists did do a show together and what type of attention that would bring to an incarceration problem. Because I do think, and I'm not saying this is what Ye and Drake are doing by any degree, but I do think celebrities a lot of time do all these functions and these charities and these big events
and like,
just to be like, hey, look. And nothing really gets done.
Yeah. I think that if they, maybe build some schools in Chicago and Larry Hoover's name, things like that. Some, after school programs, community centers, things like that. I think that whatever they do, it will cause change, though. I think it almost has to.
I'm just curious with the strategy, because like, remember in COVID when all those celebrities like sang that song on Zoom for the first responders, and it was like, yo, if y'all don't shut the fuck up, you're not bringing any attention or change to anything right now. Y'all are saying, hey, look, I care.
Right. Remember when everyone was doing the mannequin challenge? Where were we going as a people, like as society? Where were we going with that?
Okay, I can't. Granted, I did not participate, but Carl can definitely attest to this. The crew I was in at the time,
they loved the good mannequin challenge.
Oh, we did it at every Palooza with the entire crowd.
Okay,
every time. It looked cool, man.
Yeah, but people just stopping what they're doing.
I participated in planking.
I did too. I have a plank photo that made its rounds around the internet.
I don't think I missed that one.
Yeah, I was on top of the chimney.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I think that's kind of ill. I applaud you.
Yeah.
How did you get up to the chimney?
I've climbed many rooftops growing up in the Bronx. Where I can get on a roof.
Well, what type of chimney was it?
It was just, I don't know. I'm not a chimney master.
Was it like a one they would use in a Christmas movie? Okay.
No, Santa can't fit down this chimney at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Then never mind. I'm not thinking you're that.
That was really like one thing I learned in that whole stupid moment of my life of like climbing on top of a chimney and planking. I was like, okay, nobody can fit down this. This is not.
And how many people have fireplaces?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have fireplaces.
I guess.
Yeah.
They should have redid that lie a little bit better for all the children in the world that didn't have fireplaces.
Yeah, my nephew the other day, he FaceTimed me, his tooth fell out. So, he's 5, so I'm like, oh man, you gotta put under the pillow, the tooth fairy's coming, He looked at me, he was like, the tooth fairy's not coming. He was like, mommy's gonna put my money under the pillow. I was like, oh, excuse me, that you already know that the tooth fairy isn't real. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, my mom told me Santa came through the front door, but yet was also trying to tell me at a young age, always lock the door behind you every time. Instill that in me. Always lock it. So I'm like, all right, should I unlock it tonight?
Like, wait,
does Santa have a spare key? Does he know it?
Oh, no,
it's not under the mat, Mom.
So we grew up with so many bullshit stories, man. It's incredible.
Like, the tooth fairy one might be the craziest, though.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, it's like, did we think that some like fairy's gonna fly in this room and like go under my pillow and take this dead tooth and
what it was like
to
grow up Catholic with Easter and Christmas and have those two conflicting stories? Like, all right, today we're celebrating Jesus' birthday, but there's some dude with a beard coming down a chimney.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the day that he rose from the dead, and I'm going on an Easter egg hunt in the park.
Yeah. And rabbits don't lay eggs.
And it just taught me.
Rabbits don't lay eggs?
No.
Wait, I never even thought about that. You never had over easy rabbit? Sunny side up bunny?
Don't fucking lay no eggs, man. Rabbits don't lay eggs. Like, it's just shit that we grew up in. Our childhood is just like full of crazy shit, man. Like, somebody was definitely on acid when they created these stories. Like, it has to be.
I just think parents are fucking lazy. I see it now with parents. I don't have kids, so shit on me. Of just like the hand over the iPad to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was kind of our version of that in our childhood. Of like holidays and just lying about shit to get us excited and distracted of something else. And hey, this is a great way to get money.
Yeah, I get it. It's kind of like when you're married and you're on your best behavior, you might get a blowjob tonight from your wife.
And instead of like, hey, maybe you should just teach your kid how to be a good kid. You lazy fuck.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. You scared me a little bit at first.
I literally cannot wait until Rory has children.
Oh, I'm gonna be
an amazing father.
No,
I think you're gonna be an amazing father.
Well,
I see it. I just see it.
I can feel the sarcasm.
Like you have,
someone that speaks it fluently. I can't even hear it. I can like legitimately.
No, you have
feel
like father.
the sarcasm.
You have like father energy. You have like father.
energy.
Like,
is it because I'm bald?
No, but you have your aesthetic is like a dad aesthetic.
So I have a dad bod, is what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you seem like you would have like kids that you can't wait for Sunday activities to.
Of
like,
course, I do. I mean, I want to have kids soon, but I am scared I'll be that sucker father. Like
Wait.
I'll let you.
Oh, I know. If I have a daughter, yeah, It's nothing that she can't.
But see, we got to change that because I feel the same way. But that's not good.
Like,
and it's not good for the son either. Yeah, like it's a weird dynamic that is in our society of that. Like, oh, my little girl could have everything. I'll give her the world. My son got to work for it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting up an environment of some weird transactions.
Yeah, no, you are. But I mean, more so for me, raising a daughter where she understands that, if she's ever in need of anything, she can come to her father. And
of course,
like, you don't have to rely on, that's just my mentality. You don't have to rely on a man for anything. Like, if you need anything, of course you give her the tools to be dependent upon herself and all of that as well, and raise her. And, just knowing that, you got to protect your morals and protect your womanhood, because, that's what a lot of these guys are just after. They're predators. Mm-hmm. We just being honest with each other.
That's a fact.
But, just letting your daughter know that your father's always here. And sometimes, they get to an age where they don't want to ask. You can always ask your father.
I agree.
We never get to that age. I'm letting you know, as a daddy's girl, we never ever get to that age.
Stop asking daddy?
Never.
Yeah.
Well, do you think with the son shit, like, because I agree, that is how you should raise your daughter. She shouldn't always be dependent on her father. That will help her with any other relationship with a man too. Mm-hmm. That'd be a good example. But having that mentality, the other side of that coin is your son that doesn't feel like he can come to you for anything.
No, you make it
like nah, dog. Go figure that shit out, bro.
No,
you're gonna create a toxic man.
No,
that
bad.
Predator that you're talking about kind of comes from not raising your son.
No, you raise your son with the same. You can talk to dad about anything. You can talk to mom about anything. Don't hide nothing. If you want to, smoke weed, I would rather you be smoking it here in the house than to be hiding behind 7-Eleven somewhere getting in trouble.
But no, that's where you learn life, behind that 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but that 7-Eleven is dangerous now. You know what I mean?
It's a fact.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like I'd rather the kids be home, in the basement. Listen, y'all want to smoke? Do it here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm that type of parent. I would be that type of parent.
You could smell if they got some trash too. Like, nah,
yeah, I'll bring the loud downstairs. I'll be like, yo, y'all smoking bunk. Throw that shit out. Flush that. I got the za. Here you go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You're going to sound like an old... Hey, I have the za, guys.
I have the za right upstairs. Like, fellas, like, you know what I mean? I don't have to be smoking this bunk down here like that. You know what I mean?
I guess. Just raise your sons, too.
Yeah. Love your sons. Raise your sons. Please, because if not, if somebody says something like, yo, if you don't raise your kids, somebody else will.
I need Meg Thee Stallion to make the keep your head up version for men.
Explain.
We need to raise our... be real to our men.
Meg did not ask for you to nominate her for no shit like that.
Yeah, like, why did you throw Meg in that?
We need to raise and protect our sons.
Okay, but why Meg, though?
I just thought of the first female rapper I could think of.
Okay.
Fine, Lotto should do it.
Okay. See, that makes sense.
Lotto killed that.
No, Lotto is
that freestyle.
Yeah, no, she's amazing.
LA Leakers. Shout out to LA Leakers. They've been on a fucking run.
No, Lotto is and I always knew she could rap. But like, after seeing that LA Leakers, it was like I started really listening to her joints. I'm like, okay, she can really go.
No, I sat in on 2 sessions when I went down for that Donda shit with her and Ann Clemens, and I was blown away. Like, she can really rap for real, and the music she had was real records. I was like, all right, I always fucked with her, but I didn't pay enough attention to
same.
understand how dope she was.
Mm-hmm. And I used to be on that side of the fence where I really didn't, or I cared a lot about if a female MC was actually writing her rhymes.
Mm.
And I don't know if I'm as strong on that stance anymore, because I'm more impressed by the delivery now. Because you could write something, anybody could write some words, but you still have to bring life to those words and bring emotions and feelings. So, you know, a lot of female MCs would be like, oh, but she don't write. It's like, I get it, because hip hop is supposed to be your stories, your pen, and all of that. In our culture, that's just what it was built on. But for a lot of these female MCs out here to just be able to deliver the lyrics the way that they're delivering it, you know, the flows and the cadences and, you know, just the energy is like, it's impressive still.
And that was kind of my thing, to backtrack to our conversation with Hit Boy about Quentin. I fuck with Quentin, but I would have never heard that Energy record and said, oh, I need that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have. The fact that Drake heard that, they're drastically different records.
Mm-hmm.
How he delivered that shit, I'm fine with it.
That's a big part of it.
He made that record what it was.
That's a big part of, you know, art, is that how do you deliver it to the people? Now,
if Lotto, and again, what I witnessed, Lotto was writing the rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just use her LA Leakers shit as an example. I'd feel a way. I'd still have that hip hop nerdness in me that if your freestyle someone wrote, I'll feel a way. If someone wrote your song, it is what it is. It's a good record, is where I'll be at with it. Yeah. But your freestyles, I kind of need you to write that.
Yeah, it should be.
Or don't freestyle.
But what's a freestyle? I don't even know if freestyling is a real thing anymore.
It's a written thing that you go to a radio station.
Yeah, but again, we had this conversation before. It changed a lot with the internet. Like, rappers used to, I think I spoke to Royce about this a few years ago. Like, rappers used to travel the country, going to different radio stations and use the same 2, 3, 4 rhymes.
Of course. Pop up on the album too.
Right. But now, once you throw away 80 bars, or LA Leakers, you can't use those bars on bar I-9. What is it? Bar I-95?
I-95, shout out to them. They're great.
Like, you can't use those same bars over there.
No.
People gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Of course not.
Whereas before, you could literally go around the entire country, every radio station, same bars.
Yeah, it was funny. That Tyler, Vince Staples, Rosenberg, Ebro interview that like is viral at this point because Tyler said wild shit while he was freestyling.
Mm-hmm.
Rosenberg asked Vince to freestyle or like do some shit. He's like, dog, I just gave you a 32-track album today.
Mm-hmm.
I have no more bars.
Right.
I could spit something from that album, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, rappers are not, you know, robots, but nowadays you almost have to treat them like they're robots. Like, come rhyme over here and then go over here tomorrow and rhyme, and it's just like rappers don't want to do that.
I feel for the Meg fans. I know we was talking about female rappers, and apologies if you take female offensive. I don't mean it in an offensive way. Do you feel their fans feel like when I was that young kid listening to rap and I found out that the rapper wasn't really like living those rhymes and he wasn't really selling that much work, wasn't really shooting people, I had a bit of a letdown when I was young. Do you think these young women are listening to Meg the way they have for the past 2 years and what she's saying and then seeing how she's moving in real life don't really match up?
As far
it's no hot girl shit.
Well,
she's making out on IG.
She spoke about that though. She spoke about that early. She was like, yeah, I mean, you know, I know the raps. I said it was gonna be a hot girl summer, but you know, like, I'm at the end of the night, I'm going home to my boo. Like, so I mean, she spoke about it. Like, yeah.
I want to talk to some of these fans because I felt when I found out that the real Noriega didn't owe Rick Ross 100 favors.
Oh, you thought?
Like, it was like,
you thought it was a real thing?
Like, damn, that's a lot of favors.
You was disappointed?
I got like real friends that I don't owe 3 favors to.
Yeah, 100 favors is crazy. Like, okay, what were you doing? And why did somebody owe you so many favors?
Rick Ross is the greatest, man. I know the real Noriega. When did Noriega die? Are they even in the same?
Listen, it's the art of storytelling, man. That's what hip hop is. It's the art of storytelling.
He owed me 100 favors.
Yeah, pay up on some of them favors.
Listen, I don't know, but I do feel bad for the girls that really thought it was a hot girl summer and then saw Meg making out. It's a letdown.
Speaking of hot girl summer, Maya Keisha Bottoms is her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
She tweeted out that Atlanta is officially in the green zone with COVID, and that they would be easing back on the mask mandates around the city, but still in certain like city official buildings, I think you still have to about us. Because I don't know if Keisha Bottoms has been to Copper Cove at all.
Or walked outside, period, in Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta. But Atlanta was always in the green zone as far as Atlanta was concerned.
I landed at Atlanta airport and had a mask on where it's like federally regulated.
People
were looking at me
crazy.
like, yo, if you don't take that fucking mask off.
Got in the Uber driver was looking at me like, it's okay for you to take that off. I'm like,
spitting in my face.
Yeah, like I'm from New York. Like, you better have a mask on, because if not, you get that alert from Uber saying, hey, so yeah, you didn't have a mask on, and so next time you're gonna have to take a picture and prove that.
Atlanta Ubers are so against masks and COVID that if you try to put the window down, they'll close it. Like, nah, keep the germs in here.
Yeah.
Nah, we gotta keep this.
Yeah.
We gotta hotbox this shit with your breath.
I know that, Keisha has to put that out because she's the mayor. She has to be, but everyone in Atlanta read that, like, cut it out. Like, there was
we're blowing hookah smoke when you were supposed to be quarantined.
Atlanta didn't close halfway since March 2020, at all. So I get it. Good to hear that Atlanta's in the green zone and everybody seems to be healthy and the COVID numbers are way down.
That is great.
Which is amazing.
What is a green zone? What takes you from yellow to green?
I'm guessing the numbers of patients and a COVID positive tests have to be at a certain number for it to be considered green or not.
That's so odd to me, though. Like, it could take one person to go from yellow to green.
Shut it back down. I think I don't know what country it was, but they had literally shut down the entire, they went back on lockdown because 3 people had tested positive for COVID. And an entire, like...
I guess it starts with one person, so it spreads, I get it. But
it's just insane.
It's just nuts that's how they're going to gauge it. With green and yellow and, like, dog. Two people today.
We can go back to Atlanta whenever we want, Rory, and we don't have to wear masks. We weren't really wearing them down there to begin with.
Will be wearing mine.
You will be wearing yours?
I am not part of the problem.
Okay. Be progressive with your platform, Rory.
I was asked a question by a woman recently. Tamaris, I think I want to ask you this question as well. She asked me, she had taken her braids out and some weave out and said, hey, do you think my hair is growing? And I had seen it before she put the braids in. She's been trying to grow her hair, her natural hair. And that's like one of those things of, are you asking me for honesty or are you asking me?
It's a setup question. That could ruin your whole night if you answer that wrong.
How do you go about answering that? And should women ask those questions to their guy?
You got to, yes, they should. But you have to find, it's all about the words you use. So when a woman says, hey, do you think my hair is grown? You look at her and say, it does look really healthy. Because you're not really committing to saying it grew, but you're not saying it doesn't look good. It's like, it looks healthy.
Why y'all can't lie to us just like how we lie to y'all when y'all ask who pussy is it? Like, just give us.
Oh, I've never asked that question. I don't want that answer.
What we give y'all, like, damn.
But no,
help with our confidence. That's part of your job.
That perfect example, though. I don't ask questions I don't want the answer to.
Oh, you got to live a little. That's fun.
Oh no!
The moment right before she answers, that's the greatest time of your life. Like, you ask her some shit you don't want to know, and right before she answers, like, you'll start to feel your heart beating and stuff. You're like, yeah, like, wait for this lie to come out of her mouth.
That's because you guys have this thing called hope. I don't deal with hope. Hope will let you down.
What do you deal with in relationships?
As far as what?
You said you don't deal with hope.
Oh, because I hope leads to you thinking you're gonna get the answer of her saying this is your pussy. And I'm not dealing with hope because hope will let you down.
But I don't think
you hope she's gonna say that. Nah, dog. Just live with it. Possibly not being.
I don't think that men really think that the pussy is theirs if women say that. I think that's just kind of like conversation. Like,
I mean,
those are like fillers. It's like, what do we say? We just sit here and pound on each other and grunt. No, you got to have like some type of
dialogue.
You got to have some dialogue.
I'd like to open a dialogue.
Yeah, like, just like, yo, let's talk. I don't want you to think that you're just a piece of meat that I'm just pounding on right now. Like, I got to talk to you. I got to stroke your hair and kiss your face. Like, you got to, you know what I mean? Like,
and tell me my hair got longer.
Yeah, exactly.
If I pull it, it gets longer.
See now, Rory, you date enough black women to know you can't always pull that hair.
I'm a connoisseur in knowing what hair can be pulled and what can't.
You can see it. You can add a weave.
I know the number.
Yeah. I know when it's like, okay, she just got that in. It's a sew-in. That's not glue. The sew-ins you could pull. And it's a good sew-in. You feel them you're like, oh no, I'm about to have fun. The glue, you got to be careful because you don't know which glue she used.
I mean, you could tell how it is on her forehead if it's there securely. So.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that one alone. But listen, I didn't know what to say at that point.
Lie to your partners. Tell your partners what they want to hear. It will make your lives easier.
Okay.
You know what's funny? I don't want to argue that because I agree with her.
No, I agree. Lie. I think you need to lie. Lying is healthy. It's just that you can't be an excessive liar. Certain lies will help your relationship grow.
Yeah.
It will help your relationship flourish. It's like feeding it. Like you can overwater plants and kill plants. So lies is like it's water. You just have to water your relationship with a little bit of lies here and there and watch it flourish. That's all.
It's not completing sentences. I've said that before. Women don't complete their sentences. In certain cases, I do want that. So yes, this may not be my pussy, but at this moment,
I own this.
Just don't finish the sentence.
Yeah.
Yes, this is your pussy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's a lease.
It's a lease. Hey, listen, I'm for it. Let me lease that pussy for a weekend.
But what I need to know, how long is the term on the lease?
And does it have like rentals insurance?
And how many miles does this car already have?
See?
And do I gotta send it back with a full tank? Like,
has this been inspected?
Yeah. I need to know. Like, if we gonna do that, I got more questions now. Now I have more questions.
So yeah, don't tell me I'm leasing it unless we're going through everything else. What else is going on, man? Should we get to our guests? I know we're kind of all over the place today. We have a live show coming up tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? We're recording Wednesday.
We're recording Wednesday. It's tomorrow. So by the time they hear this, our live show will have been over.
All right, we did our live show.
It was great. Blew the roof off, Rory. You were great out there, man. I gotta tell you, we blew the roof off of that place.
Are you bringing a stylist?
No, I've never had a stylist. Like, my friend was helping. Like, I hate shopping. I think I spoke about this before. I hate shopping. It gives me anxiety. I hate going to stores looking for things. So a friend of mine, she used to help me. She used to go grab a bunch of pieces, things that she knows that I would probably like.
I'm personal shopper.
Yeah, I'm very simple. And but she had a baby, so she's home. You know, had a newborn, maybe like 2 months now. Congrats to her. So yeah, now I got to do all my.
So you have to go. You have to go to the Griselda show by yourself and buy the merch.
Yeah, I got to do all my shopping by myself, man.
What you gonna give him? I haven't even thought about it.
I don't know. Something. I got a bunch of shit that I never wore, so I definitely have something to throw on.
All right, I was gonna find something like.
Well, what did we give him? Because now we're talking in
past tense, third person. I was thinking something form fitting. I mean,
yeah, man, something that accents your skin.
Yeah.
And your beard. I think a lot of fall colors, pumpkin colors, orange.
That's why I like that's why I like the fall. I blend in to the environment.
Yeah.
Can we take shrooms before our LA show?
No, not before the show. Before the show?
Well, which is in the calendar, and I think we've been pretty good with keeping up with the shit we say we're gonna do to actually do with the show. We are supposed to go to Joshua Tree with Belly and take shrooms and do a podcast or film it.
Yeah.
Maybe not a podcast. Maybe just film the entire thing. And that's still.
Yeah, no, we definitely gonna do that. That's definitely, we definitely gotta make that happen. And Belly, he made sure he reached out and hit me about that. Like, yo, listen, we still doing that. I was like, for sure. Definitely.
We should rent like a camper and drive from LA. And that'll be the doc.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mall shroom doc.
I'm with it.
Fall mall shrooms.
I'm with it. 100%. I can't wait.
You taking them too?
Of course. I've taken shrooms a bunch of times.
Yeah, you take shrooms. This is
the
shrooms. Yeah.
What? I was about to do some coke tonight.
You can't spell shrooms without the R. Come on now.
Or the O.
Listen.
And I got M's.
Okay.
Get your shit off. See, this is what this is. I was waiting for that to show up, man. Okay, get your shit off, man. Talk your shit.
I don't. Leave me alone.
A subscription feature is coming to Instagram. How do you feel about that?
What is it? Subscription.
So it says, some social media platforms have begun adding ways for users to financially support the people they follow, and Instagram is the next. Instagram, a Meta-owned platform, announced the launch of a new creator subscription. The Instagram app for iOS was recently upgraded with new in-app purchases called Instagram subscriptions, with pricing ranging from 99 cents to $4.99, according to Sensor Tower and Apptopia. While Instagram does not specify the purpose of these in-app purchases, they are most likely part of the company's aim to monetize the site while also providing a means for users to support the creators they follow.
Oh my God.
The idea of an Instagram membership to assist creators isn't entirely new. The company acknowledged earlier this year that it was working on exclusive stories, which would only be available to people who paid for them. To read the rest, log on to . So exclusive stories is like OnlyFans. It's not close friends. It's like the step up from close friends. Like you got to pay for this.
Well, I've seen chicks say, "Hey, pay for my close friends," which I thought was ill. They just keep elevating the IG chicks, and I'm with it. I'm not hating at all. They will continue to do so.
Yeah, so they got the exclusive stories coming. I mean, that could be something cool.
Maul, you gonna drop real money bags?
It depends on how exclusive the story is. Like if I'm following
what would be your quintessential Dateline story that you would pay for in the close friends?
There would have to be some very nasty things going on from some of my the beautiful women that I follow.
I would have to ask Instagram, do their laws, whatever they fucking put that's wrong when you post like more than just your ass. Do those laws exist in the paid subscription?
I would no, I don't think they would, because it's exclusive. It's not open to everybody. You would have to pay for that, and I don't see them being able to do that with that type of thing.
Now, what do you think? Does this double up the money with the chicks that literally just kind of repost their Instagram shit on OnlyFans? Like they're not doing nothing but the same bathing suit pictures, just from a different angle.
Well, does
this get rid of that, or does this add more to it?
I think that this is Instagram's way of trying to corner the market and kind of remove the OnlyFans thing, because a lot of these girls or creators, they have
they create.
They have they don't have as large a following on OnlyFans as they do on Instagram. A lot of their fans are on their Instagram, and they kind of like funnel them through their Instagram to the OnlyFans through the link tree and all of that. But I think now with having something like an exclusive story that you have to pay for, Instagram now becomes a one-stop shop. You want to, you can look at the regular story, and creators gonna find a creative way. Like they'll do things where they have a bikini and then start to take it off, and then say, "See the rest on my exclusive story."
Of course. Oh no, they're gonna find a way.
They're gonna find ways.
We're really gonna find out who the smart ones are through this.
Yeah,
because I can see some like really intelligent girl, like the way Nipsey sold his mixtape for $10,000, or pardon, $100, and then sold 10,000 of them. I could see the IG chicks that use the bathing suit to get to the OnlyFans way from Instagram to just only wear turtlenecks on Instagram. Literally fully clothed, head to toe. You can only see the eyes. They'd be Kenny from South Park. Be like, yo, it's done. It's done. You got to now pay just even for the ass pics that you was getting for free.
$20. I'll take my turtleneck off.
Will you take your turtleneck off if I start one for our new Rory and Mall?
Me? Yeah, but we got to raise.
What's my price point?
Yeah, my price point is like,
it's pretty high.
I'm now in the 1 percentile. Damaris, I don't know if you understand.
Oh,
you talking.
I don't know if you've spoken to the IRS, but
no, I haven't. Maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, we could have fun with that. I think that'd be crazy, and we could do some interesting things with the show.
Yeah,
I think that would be interesting.
It would have to be pretty interesting for me to try to charge people. Me personally.
No, I mean like we could
on
do
a story.
We could do things like you could be home cooking
without a turtleneck.
Please,
some
turtleneck.
Alfredo going crazy.
Going crazy on the
Bacon.
Caesar salad.
Hell yeah.
Pumpkin spice everywhere. Going crazy.
Could just videos of Baisley.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. I see what Instagram is doing.
No, of course everyone's doing that paid subscription shit.
Yeah.
But all right. I think we should get to our guest. I know we had a bunch of random topics and shit was all over the place, but
I was so disappointed to find out his name was not Dr. Gadh.
I asked him when he walked in. I didn't ask him on the phone last night when we spoke because I was hoping it was Dr. Gadh. And then when he came in and said that it wasn't, I was like, "You Dr. Gadh."
Yeah, Dr. Gadh today. So Dr. Gadh, right?
Yes,
I believe his name is joining us, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. I think it's something that we should probably make a reoccurring thing. Just talking to a doctor that deals with mental health and things like that. I think that's important. Like we got to make it cool. Make it cool to get therapy. Make it cool to talk to a professional about mental health the same way we make it cool for anything else that destroys us. Make it cool for something that helps us.
Yeah, and I love that mental health has become such a big part of podcasting. And I think with this doctor, it's a different approach to it because therapy was taboo before. Now I think it's becoming taboo that just going to therapy is not just going to fix it.
Mhm.
Like now everyone is like, oh, well, that's the final step of just
Right.
like, oh, get a therapist, you'll be fine.
Mhm.
It's like, nah, dog. This shit takes a lot more from diet to what you're doing in your personal life. It's not just sitting talking to a stranger to get your shit off.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's another angle to this mental health topic. So
All right, so let's welcome Dr. Gadh and let's have this conversation.
all right, welcome to the new Rory and Maul show. We never do formal intros ever. We usually start talking shit,
We're
but we
so
have
unorganized.
someone way smarter than us here.
I feel
today.
like things need to be.
Yeah, for my hello.
Yeah.
This is the new Rory and Maul show.
Right.
Welcome, episode I've thus forgotten.
18?
18.
Yeah.
We are here with Dr. Gadh. We thought it was Dr. Gadh. That's why we had him on here. But now that it's Gadh, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I thought God was coming today, I gotta be honest.
So yeah, how about you give us some of your background? I know you and I briefly spoke yesterday, and you had some really interesting things to say that I think are super important. So we could just start with your background.
Thank you guys for having me on, talking about serious things on Serious.
Mhm.
Right.
Terrible. Already with the dad jokes.
I like it. Listen,
Yeah.
that's my lane.
This is what we do.
You know, the whole road is our lane. Let's call it that for now. Well, look,
Already giving us jewels.
Yes.
I hear you guys talk about hip hop, so let me start with that.
Mm.
You know, I do represent Queens.
Hey,
Okay.
what part of
and
Queens?
in Rego Park,
Okay.
right off the expressway. I could still see the apartment
Mhm.
All right.
that my parents moved to when I was a few months old.
Okay.
And I saw New York City as a beacon. I still do, and I love this place. I was raised there in Long Island, and nothing else I wanted to do but be a doctor when I was little, you know, because I thought it was the most curious, noble, special, powerful position.
Mm.
You know, I was looking to change people and maybe more, and I think that's what I'm trying to do now.
So the specific part of health that you work on is what exactly?
Psychiatry.
Psychiatry. Okay. And
Psychiatry
what form?
is when you prescribe medications to adjust and talk to people, of course. Important to do both pills and skills to improve their thoughts and emotions and behaviors.
So I'm terrified of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Especially with mental health. I think that's even more terrifying. Like I've taken antidepressants before. I hated the way they made me feel. It was awful.
Yeah.
So what is the difference in what your practice does and the new ways that you're trying to bring, I guess, pharmaceuticals into mental health?
Right. You know, I kind of share some of your sentiment, and that's why I've moved into a bridging model, right? I think that to be an extremist to say they're all bad and an extremist to say there's a pill for everything, they're both dangerous paths. And so when I started in psychiatry and medicine, I didn't know I was going to be a psychiatrist. I mean, I love Fraser Crane and all, but
Yeah.
I went to be a doctor, a real doctor, so to speak.
Mhm.
And then I realized that, you know, after 9/11, where I was right here, that this was a situation I was going to be more talented for. So I wanted to reduce harm to others, harm to self. I wanted to help people out of that darkness. And I needed as many tools as I could and learn the tools. So before I could think outside the box, I had to understand what's inside this box.
Mhm.
What are we using to help people? And at that time, 20 years ago, right, and pretty much still, it's the same. We use a lot of benzos. We use a lot of antidepressants. Sometimes we mix antidepressants. We use antipsychotics for people who are not psychotic. For children who are not psychotic as tranquilizers. We mix and match drugs so that people leave with a bag of medicines and they don't know what they're taking, when they're taking it, and how they're interacting. These are the things that were frustrating because it meant no one was taking their medicines.
Right.
And they weren't even that effective. If we look at rates of suicide, addiction, homicide, mass violence, they haven't gone down in the last 20 years. Access to treatment has improved. It's not great by any means, but I think psychiatry has to accept its own failures here. So what I do that's different, and what I started to do at Bellevue, because after residency in Long Island, I said, I'm obviously coming to New York City to live and work here. Where else am I going to go?
Yeah.
The Mecca of crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So here I come, and I started to see people at Bellevue, and the frustrating part was going back and forth. Same people sometimes, right? Homelessness, addiction, inability to care for themselves, inability to, or in unwillingness to want to take their medicine, and suicide attempts and slow motion suicide. So I said, you know, there's a great medicine called Lithium.
Okay.
But we seem to only use it dogmatically for people who have bipolar disorder
Mhm.
at certain levels. So I said, what if I used it for this woman who is cutting herself?
And can you explain sorry to cut you off, what lithium is exactly?
Of course. In short, lithium is the dynamite that ignited the entire Big Bang.
Mm.
It is a dust. It's a mineral.
Okay.
It's in every rock. It's in every living thing. Okay, small amounts of it. At that Big Bang, it was hydrogen, helium, lithium.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those are gases,
Mm.
ignitable gases. The other is a solid. So it literally started the whole explosion. And if it's in every single thing, right now we know it as a Nirvana song. We know it as,
Mm-hmm.
something that is in batteries for
Yeah.
your phone, for your Tesla,
Yeah.
for your computer, for anything practically.
Mm-hmm.
So it conducts electricity. It's a metal. It's the 3rd element on the periodic table.
Okay.
So it's a salt, it's a metal, and it's also a very effective psych med.
Mhm.
But the connotation in psychiatry is, well, that's some heavy duty stuff. You got to be real crazy to be on that. It's going to cause side effects. It's going to make you a zombie. It's going to slow you down.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from misuse and misunderstanding. So back in the day, we certainly overused that medicine and didn't understand that too much of anything that's good on the periodic table will hurt you.
Yeah.
Right.
Too much potassium
Mm-hmm.
is in the lethal injection. Not
Mhm.
enough potassium will also kill you because when you have diarrhea, that's what you lose, electrolytes, right? Potassium. So tiny
Listeners
amounts
know
are
I have
good.
fiber problems.
Say again?
I said all the listeners know about my fiber problems.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, we can
we've
get to
talked
that.
about those types. I would love to. But you were saying that so you took lithium and there was a woman. I just wanted to get a full understanding what lithium
Oh
was.
yeah, we're going to get there. So this woman is a prototype, right? A person that I saw over and over. Many kinds of people that don't have certifiable bipolar, they don't have manic episodes, but every time they come in, they are harming themselves some way, either with relationships or with addiction,
Yep.
or physically themselves, right? Because they've had trauma in the past. Trauma is so connected to self-harm
Mhm.
that I thought, why don't I use the medicine that reduces self-harm?
Right.
Viably. This is, if you look in psychiatry and say, what prevents suicide? What drug that you guys use prevents suicide? There's only one that has been tested over and over, replicated, and that is lithium. And yet it is still number 25 on the top 25 psych meds prescribed. So that's ridiculous to me, number one. I started to basically use less than the prescribed amount because I'm like, if a lot works for people who have bipolar disorder, who are really sick, let me use a little bit for you to see if you feel better, if you don't want to kill yourself, if you don't think about suicide, instead of multiple other drugs and combinations that are causing weight gain and sedation, sexual side effects. You're not taking these. You don't want these. These are snowing you like a straitjacket for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you this. It's natural.
Yeah.
And I found out that, if I use half the prescribed dose, it was working.
Mhm.
And so doctors, pharmacies would call me and be like, this patient isn't on enough. I'm like, have you talked to this patient? They're doing great.
Yeah.
And they're on one pill. So that's how I realized that less is more of some natural things.
So what? Go ahead.
How much over the last 20 years as being a doctor and studying as far as depression and things like that, how much of that do you attribute to like social media and access to a lot of information? Because I feel like people have so much access to information, your brain is on the wheel, anxiety levels start to heighten and things like that. And I think that as a doctor, I'm sure you studied patterns of the effects that social media and access to information around the world and taking in so much information at one time can affect someone's brain. Like, do you attribute a lot or some of the suicidal rates to people with addiction, if you will, to social media and being just online, reading things and not being able to just relax?
Portion of it, yeah, absolutely. But not the majority. I don't want to make social media the devil
right.
here. It's a tool, right?
Mhm.
The internet is a tool.
Mhm.
I've seen the pre and post of the internet. I'm 45 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys are that much combined.
Mhm.
No, I'm kidding. You guys are seasoned veterans yourselves.
31, and Maul just looks like he's 25. He's not.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I'm kidding. Though, but I'm probably older than most of your listeners, and that's why I think I can be a bridge.
Yeah.
And yes, I think that it's an intoxicant, just
Mhm.
like alcohol once upon a time, and I think it's necessary for a society. It improves a society. Nicotine, caffeine, sugar, cannabis, all of those things, small amounts, moderated, improve life, actually. So does the internet. But if you abuse people financially, and if you don't give people the right treatments when they do need it, then they will use those intoxicants indiscriminately.
As a vice. And I think even social media can be a vice as well. Or your phone is a vice. So
happy kids don't overuse social media.
Because they don't need to. They don't have to find that void.
How do you feel about the fact that and sports are now not testing for cannabis? Like the NFL and the NBA are no longer testing their athletes because athletes have been so vocal over the years of saying how medical marijuana has helped them physically and mentally deal with the gruesome nature of the sport of football. And a lot of NBA players have started speaking out in the last few years about mental health and how medical cannabis has helped them with that. Like, how do you feel about sports now accepting that and allowing players to use recreational and medical marijuana?
Well, here's the plus and minus of it. The plus is that if this leads to less opiate use and intense pharmaceutical use, steroid use maybe, right? That's a good thing because that can lead to extremely self-destructive behaviors on and off the field, all right? If we're going to also drink less, that's a good thing, okay? But I don't think we're going to see less CTE from the use of cannabis.
Right.
I also think that it may not be a performance-enhancing herb. Maybe on weekends, right? After or on for the NFL on Sunday nights. I don't know, but it reduces REM sleep. This is the big thing that I talk about with kids and anyone who uses cannabis enjoys it, and I've enjoyed it too. I think it's special. I mean, it's cannabis sattva is Hindu. We made this stuff. We invented this stuff. You're welcome. Okay?
Thank you.
Many thanks.
So it does, however, have a sacred background in terms of rituals. It wasn't meant to be something we enjoyed every day. And it's because it reduces REM sleep and deep sleep. There's 3 kinds of sleep. You go to bed, you have light sleep, it's the on-ramp. Then you got deep sleep for body rest. And then every 90 minutes, you have REM sleep for brain rest and rinsing and cooling. That's the purpose of REM, of dreams, is to process all the junk to wash out your brain like it's in the washing machine. But when you use cannabis, you reduce REM. So you might notice if you smoke on a Friday, that night you're going to have less dreams. You'll fall asleep beautifully, you think, right? You have a great time, etc. Saturday, you may not wake up as crisp, all right? Saturday night, if you don't smoke, you will have REM rebound. You'll have more dreams than normal, more vivid dreams. That is cannabis and its effect.
Okay.
So if we use regularly, we're not letting our brains recover. So that whenever I tell kids and such, I always say, look, your brain is a Ferrari right now. Keep it clean. Keep the fuel clean. When it stops its really active development, then you can dabble in this stuff a little bit more. But right now, feed it love, feed it, laughs, good stuff.
It's funny, you brought up the Hollywood thing. And I mean, I know obviously you don't need to say anyone's names or allude to any situations, but I do know that you have worked with entertainers, with famous people, and I feel like our culture just shits on celebrities, and then we go, well, they're rich and famous, who cares? And then we wonder why they act out and do these insane things the higher they get up in their successes. In treating them and speaking with them, is there any commonality with entertainers that you think is why there is so much erratic behavior from them once they become famous?
Well, I think sometimes the insecurities that are that lead to them suffering and maybe creating beautiful art, timeless art, they remain, even if they are wealthy and powerful. They may still feel small inside, and so no amount is enough. No amount of adulation is enough, and any time away from stage feels very uncomfortable. We can talk about Whitney and Michael and Chester and these people that I grew up idolizing and watching and loving the music of, Cobain, all of these guys, and there's a commonality of abuse in their past. So how much do you have to suffer for your art? Okay, is my question often to these folks. I think you can stress yourself and suffer to create. But I don't think anyone wants you to be a model of self-destruction, because you also have a mic, and that's power.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to lift or depress people based on your behaviors.
And has any of them taken the lithium treatment and found their creative process hindered, or
good question,
a way of, hey, I kind of do need some of this sadness and erratic shit in my brain. I can't really be happy to be this good. Do you run into that at all?
Great question. So there's two realms of this, right? There's people who may actually have bipolar disorder. And for those people, I tell them, look, any hospitalization is going to derail your social and occupational progress. It's going to mess up your relationships and also your contracts and stuff like that. And when we've seen this studied professionally, we've seen that people who treat their bipolar are actually more successful artists and such. They just produce more than if it's not. Okay. Outliers like Van Gogh and whatnot, this is a very difficult comparison. Now, on the low dose level range, I see the same concept. People take it and they say, okay, I don't feel different. I don't feel unlike myself. I feel elevated. It's not an antidepressant. It's pro-hope. It's pro-elevation. It's a mood stabilizer theoretically, but so is this floor. It's stabilizing us. It's keeping us from being, in the lobby where we can elevate from this floor. So it's preventing your downfall. It's preventing the self-destructiveness. And that means that you're going to produce more work and better work. So that's what they've seen, income-wise, health outcome-wise as well.
Have you, and just looking at artists from the outside, if you haven't been able to sit with them one-on-one, someone like Kanye West, and this is somebody we talk about in our culture, because over the years we've watched him go through some changes, mood swings, say things publicly that's kind of like, you look at it like that was a little off. Like, why would he do that? Do you think that someone like Kanye, because we talk about it a lot, I attribute a lot of Kanye's, things after the traumatic loss of his mom, in the loss, I think that we started to see a different person after that. Naturally, like you lose your mom, somebody that you love and care about like that, I think it affects you. Do you think that being in the spotlight like that and then going through something as traumatic as losing a parent and then just diving into your art and your work and not really like taking time alone and away from the public eye, do you think that helps you by diving into your art and not really grieving and giving yourself time to heal from that? Do you think that that's healthy to do?
I don't think that's healthy. I think any loss, and look, we're in a time of COVID, a lot of people have lost, right? I've lost people I know, mentors and such, and it's been awful losses, undignified loss. Kids and even kids, believe it or not, and mostly elderly or grandparents dying alone in their beds. But any loss, I tell someone, there's these stages of grief we know. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Acceptance, that's the end. I don't want to accept. It's not enough to just accept that my mom died traumatically. I think we need to go beyond that and talk about honoring her. How do we honor the people we lose? I don't think it's through destructive behavior. We take the best of them and continue to live with that and elevate them with us. It's Star Warsian. I mean, Obi-Wan dies and we keep him and we use that love and energy. I hope that he would, or anyone would, not just avoid and dive into work, but pause and reflect and see what is the essence of that loss of that life and what can I include, not just put a plaque up and such, but what can I keep in my heart every day and keep continuing.
Do you think there'll ever be a world, because we talked about the NFL and CTE, and obviously we know that the music business can drive someone fucking crazy, and we've talked about how record labels should have therapists and have that on deck at any time for, I don't want to call them employees, but they're artists, but even not just the music industry and sports. I think in general, is there a world where every company is required to have someone like you and a therapist readily available as part of your employment? And why has that not happened yet?
Yeah, I think that world is coming. I'm hopeful. I I think we have to have that world, because right now, if I could borrow a line from one of the best rappers, I don't think the world is anyone's. Right? The world is not yours. The world is not mine. We belong to the world. The world is a living being. It's a planet. It's not a rock.
Right.
This earth is a breathing macro organism, and we've given it a fever. All right. It has a fever from us, from our behaviors of digging up oil, sending it, hotboxing the whole planet. Okay. So it's attacking us now. It's causing our demise with its antibodies, its virus. So if we recognize that eventually this thing is going to explode because the sun's going to incinerate it, just like every star does, we got to get the hell off in 4 billion years. Why wait till then? Why not start now working together? To work together, we have to stop being self-destructive and destructive to others. That's the essence of mental health, is to work together somehow, to share resources and symbiotically behave, not parasitically behave.
I mean, do you think I guess everything is kind of big business and politics at the end of the day, and we all know the pharmaceutical and what their actual main goal is. Do you think that's maybe why it hasn't become a priority to have someone like that around your work environments? Because they obviously stress people out no matter what you do. I don't care if you work at Amazon or you work at McDonald's. Like, it's still going to be stressful in some way to mess with your ability to work in those environments.
But it's even more stressful now. And you mentioned big business. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why isn't it working? Because, sometimes I feel like, I don't know, Will Smith at the end of that movie, I Am Legend, and it feels Sisyphean. It feels like I'm spitting in the wind, because no matter if we lithiated the water of New York City, there would still be problems because government is not paying people enough. Because government that we have elected are beholden to profits, not people anymore. And since the 70s, when I was born, there's a chart that's very telling. Cost of living has skyrocketed. Okay. Healthcare, education, housing, like this. All right. Median income since then, since 76, that year when I was born, has been pretty flat. Black median income has been down relatively. So there's a huge gap as a result. People are covering that up, mortgaging this, gigging themselves out. But the only thing that's been up with that is campaign financing. That, if we reform that, and we actually have leaders reaching across the aisle, not going left wing, right wing, but cockpit style, having drinks across, after work and whatnot, connecting with each other like we are, right? People from all different backgrounds talking for the betterment of society. That's how we get problems solved, I think. So I say it's always campaign finance first, then it's tax reform to close that loop, because we're being fleeced. Labor, this is about anti-labor. If I say my system that I have published on low-dose lithium and addiction treatment, it's anti-racist. No, it's anti-capitalist pig. It's anti-hyper extremist capitalist. We're making money, but we can do well and good. That's what we've stopped doing in this country.
Do you think that we need to change because, since forever, it's like everybody's on this same type of schedule. You work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, and this, you go to school, the kids go to school, and you look up and you realize that you don't really spend a lot of time with family. You don't spend a lot of time, with your children and things like that. Do you think that, like you said, capitalists and having to work and not really making money, so you're saying that we need to really change everything about the way people live, the way people make money, because you work for 40 years and you retire, you only enjoy 10 years of your retirement, really 15 years of your retirement, and then you die.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's something that we need to look deeper in and say, listen, we're doing this wrong. We've been on this system for so long, our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and it's like, there's something wrong with that. You shouldn't be spending more time working for someone than you are with your family and raising your children.
I think work is important. Freud used to say it's love and work. That's what life is about. It's purpose and pleasure, the way I put it. But it doesn't have to be abusive. Okay, we can have, I love going to work. I love Mondays. I love it. And I think it's because I love the meaning behind what I do,
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm talking to someone who was homeless 2 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
or whether I'm talking to, someone who has the ability to really make change financially for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the abuse part that I hope ends. In Europe, they've done it pretty well for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They've paid people a living wage. They've
Mm-hmm.
given people enough vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and they are labor sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Good ideas still come out of there. But
Right.
do we need the extremism here, where we have all this wealth continuing to be concentrated and deifying it?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's eventually, I don't think millionaires and billionaires want to walk around in gated communities,
Right.
do they?
Mm-hmm.
To be protected like that?
Right.
I think if I'm hurting someone like that, that's hurting me.
Well, I think one of the few good things that not good that came from COVID, but a realization we had was that 8-hour workday, you don't really get much done.
Mm-hmm.
People were working for 3 hours at home during COVID, and we're getting just as much done
Mm-hmm.
as that 8-hour day. And we're probably in a better mood. Of course, it was COVID. Everyone was feeling the way they felt, but you did have some more time to find yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because that going to the office 5 days a week, I think companies, now that New York is opening back, are doing limited offices. Like, we don't even need this.
Mhm.
This is kind of crazy. Come in twice a week. We'll get shit done that way.
And yet, I'll tell you, it is in the room where it happens, not the Zoom where it happens.
Yes.
Right.
Right. I like being here. I like meeting you guys. I feel like we have a good connection and energy here.
Mhm.
And yet, I think a hybrid approach is what we're headed for.
Right.
A few days a week, men and women still need to hunt. They still get a thrill
Mhm.
out of putting on the wingtips and
Yeah.
going to work,
Yeah.
rather than staying in, striped sweatpants.
Mhm.
Yes. They're comfortable. They're very comfortable. Bought them during COVID. We spoke yesterday briefly about treating ADHD,
Yeah.
and how that's, for the last however many years has been going. I want to say that's not only with children, but with adults. I find people, especially around my age, are now have adult ADD. And I don't know if that's because half of our life was in front of a screen. It could be it, but I did want to get into that and how we treat it, not only with children, but with adults.
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, because while I'm against, the overuse of benzos because they're toxic medicines, it's alcohol in a pill, it reduces REM sleep, it causes depression and worsens anxiety. It's kind of like an opiate for mental health. I am pro the use of stimulants responsibly. All right. And this is a place where, in general, women and people of color have been underdiagnosed, undertreated. Back in the day, you had a classroom full of kids. I went to public school in New York, diverse group. If a white kid was misbehaving, well, let's talk to his parents. There must be something wrong. Black kid's misbehaving. You're just a bad kid. You're going to the principal's office.
Mm.
Okay. If I'm misbehaving, I'm getting beaten later, basically.
Mhm.
But these were the differences. And if a girl has ADHD at that time, she's just spacing out, sitting quietly in class. So no one knows until she gets an F.
Mm.
Right. So once we properly address, okay, are you having serious problems with efficiency, right? Things taking longer, losing things, procrastination, disorganization, using nicotine, caffeine, sugar excessively, then let's go and do some further testing on it. And if we find that there is, a high degree of score on the ASRS scale, that's a Harvard, Stanford adult ADHD self-report scale. I use it all the time. You can look at that. And if you find you're scoring high, okay, let's treat it. Let's use a touch of Adderall in the morning with breakfast. And I say pills and skills. I have this system called Oldies. It's a different channel here, but occupation, love, diet, intoxication, exercise, sleep. If we adjust these categories and we give you the right medicine, we see better health outcomes and better income into your pocket.
Mm.
And that's what we've partially done in our program down on Avenue D. In fact, Mayor-elect Adams mentioned this. He said half of Rikers, more, has dyslexia, learning disability, ADHD. If we treat this early, not only do we get more productive young people of color, but we have reduction in impulsivity and crime later, because then they don't feel frustrated to medicate they don't feel obliged to medicate that frustration of not being in college, not having the right job, having to join, unscrupulous gangs and such. There's an immense potential that we haven't unlocked to just help our kids. Instead, we use hammers, right? You think investing in bigger sledgehammers like whack-a-mole, that's helping our society? No, it's inflaming those same people. We need to make the wood more hospitable so the nails want to stay in it.
Why do you think that, especially in the Black community, why do you think that therapy and seeing a therapist gets such a negative connotation?
Well, I mean, we can go back to Tuskegee and such, right? In terms of mistrust and medicine and betrayal of Black population. Frankly, I'll tell you that medicine has messed with everybody. We've injected people with cancer, and that we still have cancer centers named after that doctor. Okay,
crazy.
I know, crazy, right? I'm sorry, it wasn't me, but I mean, I think we still do this now, right? Chemotherapy is basically a nuclear attack on all of your cells. We manage with the medicine we have to try and learn. COVID is a massive experiment in terms of who's doing it well right now. But I think that the bigger mistrust is how Black people have been treated. Right? It's harder to gain trust when medicine has screwed you too, and you're supposed to be pure and sacred and secular, and yet in this country it's harder to treat African Americans because of the legacy of slavery, right? And how it's been used to improve the bottom line. When I talk with my African American patients, I'm trying to spend even more time with them. I'm trying to not press. If they're not ready, it's okay. I think sometimes just planting the seed and letting them know that you're not going to push them to an uncomfortable place, even though right now African American vaccination rates are lower. All I can do is provide love and encouragement as to when they're ready. But I beg them sometimes, with tears in my eyes sometimes, with their children next to them. I'm like, please take care of her, because she's going to get exposed, this young girl. And if you don't vaccinate her, I'll say that I was begging you to, but I'll treat her anyway. And by the way, lithium as an immune mineral is showing immense promise, because like I said before, it reduces suicide, right? It reduces cell death is really what it does. It keeps you from not killing yourself, your own cells from killing themselves. And the cause of much of COVID death is the cytokine storm. That's your own red lights, your fire lighting up your whole body, drowning in your own spit in your lungs. It reduces that. So of the 300 patients that I've treated at that center, 0 hospitalizations, 0 deaths.
Wow. Crazy. You brought up Rikers, and I did want to ask you, of course the prison system is not to rehabilitate. It's literally to jail a human being. Yeah. Where do you see, and again, this is an obvious question, but where do you see the prison system has been wrong, specifically with mental health and how to rehabilitate a person like that? Because not everyone's doing life. They're coming back into society and will probably fall back into that system because they're not treated correctly in prison. And how do you feel about people that say, all right, how come the prisoners are getting this free treatment and this free attention instead of some of the citizens that are going out every day, paying their taxes, and still don't get the opportunity to have the mental health attention that they need?
Yeah, I think those are both valid points, right? But because if we started to, and we should, it's just a waste of money to house someone there and worsen their perception of society and let them come out even angrier. I mean, there's no point to that. That's just might as well burn money. So at the very least, can we give them a significant library? Can we give them significant resources? Can we not harm them medically in there? Can we do that much? And just say, okay, you're here. We want you to leave with as much time as possible in your life to use it for the betterment of yourself and others. And we're not going to make it Shangri-La. It's not a Norwegian, it's not going to be a Norwegian prison. Okay. But we also, I think, gotta talk about the universal or lack of universal healthcare in this country. In this country, your healthcare is basically don't get sick, and if you do, die fast.
Yeah.
So we invest in, sugar subsidies and get everyone to a place where they can't see their toes. And then we pay a lot of money to doctors to roto-root their cardiovascular system. I mean, this is ridiculous. To make money abusing people from both ends, rather than say, let's have a tax system where everyone keeps every dollar, okay? It's transparent in Congress. Everyone's wearing their pins like NASCAR, all right? Everyone has limited campaign financing. Everyone keeps that every single dollar from their paycheck, but stuff is taxed more, all right? So soda's taxed more than water. Pigouvian taxation, VAT taxation, sin taxes. That'll work. We tax the hell out of guns and ammo. We don't need, to ban anything. Have it all. Ride a tank if you want to. Just have the proper documentation.
Right.
And the proper background on that.
How do you, as a doctor, sitting and talking with your patients, how does that affect you and your mental health? Like taking in this energy and these stories and trying to help people with their mental health. How does that affect you as a doctor?
See where it goes.
I think a lot of doctors have been suffering these days. Me, I don't put myself in that kind of harm's way, right? God bless the ICU docs, the nurses, the people that have shown up at work and sometimes feel hopeless with the treatments they've provided, seeing nothing but death, feeling powerless, and not even being able to treat what they know how to treat well because it's all crowded with COVID. So I treat doctors myself, and I feel their pain. It's been such a tough time, traumatic time for them. And we're basically skilled labor. Okay, at this point, we're not, what we used to be in terms of, island hopping moguls or anything. Food is medicine. Food is medicine comes from Hippocrates.
Yeah.
Okay, that's way back. Absolutely true. And we are poisoning. The Western diet is pleasure-ridden, right?
Yeah.
The major food group that kids get is tomatoes from ketchup.
Right.
As my daughter calls it, kepich.
Yeah,
okay?
kepich.
Loves that stuff. I do too. I do love French fries too. And that's the major vegetable that they get.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Beef is way too cheap in this country. And it's not symbiotic. It's parasitic. To feed off of cows like this in my land, they're holy. I still like a good steak, but it has to be rare and grass-fed. I mean, medium rare, but rarely taken, if at all. So the point is, I think we have to go with a symbiotic diet long term. The things I tell my patients: 3 liters of water and as much beans and greens as you can take every day. Go vegan throughout the day. At night, if you want, sparingly.
Right.
Go with meat.
Gotcha.
Okay. But absolutely, Game Changers, great movie. You guys have probably seen it. I think it should be awarded because it may single-handedly. I freaking think the Mets should change their diet. Look at these people. The most injured team in baseball. One of my dreams is to take over. Let me take over your health, and you will not be injured as a team. We will head to the promised land. That's the playoffs. So I'm all for that as a performance component. I mean, I'm 45. I can still go, okay, with anyone on the court, and I ride a fixed gear up and down the spine of Manhattan every day. So I'm for you there. I think it's hard for people to go the extremist way and go full. But if you talk to them and say, we love you, this is not about shaming you for your weight. This is never about that. This is about love and encouragement. We want you to be capable, more capable than ever, good to yourself. Introduce these things. I never tell people what to not eat.
Right.
Just add more greens.
Right.
Throw it in the smoothie. Throw it in the pasta sauce. Go with chickpea pasta.
Right.
Might mix it up hybrid style.
Yeah.
It'll be better for the environment. It'll be better for your microbiome. That's what was screaming when you went vegan.
Yeah.
You had die-off of bacteria throughout your gut. So be more regular.
Right.
I oddly talk about bowel movements a lot with my patients. I want them to be very regular.
Right.
Because that means food is not staying and then causing inflammation in your body.
I mean, I don't have anything else. If there's other points,
No,
this
we
was
made
amazing.
it to bowel movement. So
This was-
this is like we went through
Oh
everything.
no, I gotta meet him about my fiber shit.
This is a gift for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. This is that water I was talking about, Third Element water.
Oh, great.
Out of Texas.
Thank you so much.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
it's a nice bottle, glass too.
And
Yes.
is there a website or a social
It is,
media page for
obviously
people
on
to
Instagram,
purchase?
Third Element water, and a website as well. You know, there are a lot of different ways to get microdose lithium into your diet. I think
Yeah.
if you look that term up, you'll find me, GADH. My publicist Echo Baden, great guy, hip hop aficionado and art aficionado, has been instrumental in setting this up. So I want to give him props and thank you guys. You know,
Justice,
you guys
brother.
are some of the leaders, I think, in thought and in connecting with the Gen Z audience right now.
That's terrifying, Doc.
I know. So your shoulders, don't look big, but they're strong enough to handle this.
Well, Doc, I appreciate it. This was a really, really dope conversation. It opened up a lot of things to me, and I'm definitely glad you bought that. I'm a water guy. I drink a lot of water, so
Best one in the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely glad you bought that.
I know you said the website for the water, but where can they reach you specifically on socials?
Yeah, I mean, they can. I think Googling me is probably ideal. If you look up Dr. Gadh, whatever, GADH, you'll see me. There's only one. And low dose lithium. I think that's a better thing to look up because I want to be really less about plugging me or any company than the solutions to help. Again, I'm not biting the hand that feeds me. I say if you're happy with your current treatment regimen, great. I think this can only help, kind of like fluoride and good dental hygiene. But I just want to massage out the arthritis of the hand that feeds me.
I get it.
Got it.
But thank you so much for your time, Doc. Really
Appreciate you
it,
for
man.
coming, man. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
No, Rory and